There, a definitive spike on the graph and a visible tremor.
Note it down, Doctor, but remain objective.
In the final winter of 1945, when victory still tasted of ash, a quiet dread settled over Washington.
These rumors about the unseen conflict are everywhere.
It's more than a rumor now. We have confirmation.
The Soviet Union, rising from ruin with iron resolve, cast a long and widening shadow across Europe's fractured map.
American intelligence feared not armies alone, but secrets, the kind forged in hidden laboratories of the new age.
Among these fears emerged tales of Soviet psychics, minds trained to pierce distance and unravel guarded intentions.
Such stories drifted like smoke, impossible to grasp, yet impossible to ignore within the anxious capital.
To many officers, the idea felt absurd, but absurdity held little comfort when the stakes spanned the entire globe.
Inside the young CIA, created with ambition but starved of certainty, questions turned heavier each passing week.
Could the mind itself become a weapon, sharper than steel and quieter than any coded telegram?
Some dismissed the notion as myth, yet others sensed a peril in refusing to investigate the unfamiliar.
The logic was harsh but simple. If the Soviets explored the impossible, America could not remain blind to it.
The implications for quantum entanglement are unprecedented. We must proceed.
But look here, the energy requirements alone exceed. The structural anomaly cannot be ignored. It violates the known laws.
You are ignoring the human element. The brain scans show clear distress. Out of these uneasy meetings rose a conviction that knowledge, even strange knowledge, must be pursued.
New files were created, stamped with fresh codes, and sealed beneath layers of secrecy thicker than night.
Gravity is shifting. They've activated the sensors. We're compromised.
Each document pointed toward a possibility both thrilling and terrifying, a frontier without maps or mercy.
For the CIA believed that in a world balanced on knives, even the faintest advantage could tip the future.
Look, it's turning gold.
The synchronization is unprecedented.
We've accessed the latent pathways.
The first experiments were proposed in tones of caution, but ambition coiled beneath every drafted line.
Some saw opportunity for a new era of intelligence gathering, swift and bloodless, as a passing thought. Yet no voice was strong enough to halt the tide of curiosity, driven by fear of falling behind the rival power. By early months of the next year, plans had matured into blueprints for programs cloaked in total silence.
I understand this contradicts everything you've been taught, but we need you to suspend disbelief and analyze this data.
What you see here stays here. This goes deeper than anything we've done before. Even within the agency, only a handful knew the true scope of what was being concealed in those tense days. Whether truth or delusion, threat or illusion, no one could yet say. But the path had already been chosen.
So the curtain lifted on a chapter unlike any before, where science, fear, and ambition intertwined in shadow.
Deep inside government facilities, corridors led to locked chambers where fresh code names hung like veils of smoke.
Among them were projects whispered as Bluebird and Artichoke, born from urgency rather than certainty or proof.
These initiatives sought to probe the mind itself, hoping to weaponize thought in ways history had never known.
The memory engrams are showing unusual instability.
How does this correlate with the subject's intuitive responses?
We need to isolate the will component.
The potential for growth here is limitless.
We understand the enthusiasm, but we must proceed with caution and measured steps.
The rooms they entered lacked windows, as if light might expose the fragile theories forming within those walls.
Consciousness transcends the retina. We can perceive worlds untouched by sight.
But without empirical validation, that remains pure
We need results now, Doctor. The Soviets are closing in.
It's unstable, General. We can't rush this stage.
Unstable or not, we launch tomorrow.
Just relax and let go. The boundaries between thought and reality are starting to blur.
Whispers encouraged subjects to perceive distant objects or recall details buried beneath layers of forgotten days.
Some sessions yielded nothing but frustration, yet others produced coincidences too precise to dismiss outright.
The internal layout confirms our analysis. The sealed compartment is accessible only through this sub-level conduit.
It's an optical illusion, nothing more. You're letting your bias obscure the facts.
You call this illusion?
It's pulsating with energy right in front of us. How can you deny this essential truth?
Data was cataloged in folders stamped with warnings, stored in cabinets accessed only by a handful of cleared men.
The power fluctuations are unstable, Director. We have to shut it down.
We push through the distortions. Activate the core now.
Scientists questioned whether their work peeled back natural limits or merely amplified imagination's fragile echo.
Yet the agency's leadership insisted that in a war of shadows, even improbable tools could shift the balance.
Power levels holding steady. Get that readout to the Pentagon now.
Begin synchronization sequence. Focus on the coordinates.
I'm attempting to visualize the structure now. We have a lock.
Did you see that? She's doing it again!
She actually sensed something. I can't believe it.
Still, the experiments multiplied, each step pushing further from the familiar shores of accepted science. The deeper the program ventured, the more its Caucasian male architects realized they stood inside a landscape without maps.
And yet retreat felt impossible, for the momentum of secrecy carried every believer and doubter alike forward.
Even failure seemed informative, for each unanswered question hinted at possibilities waiting beyond reason.
By the end of the program's early phase, the agency had crossed a threshold where doubt no longer slowed ambition.
The rooms without windows became symbols of an era when fear and curiosity intertwined in dangerous union. And from these dim beginnings emerged a conviction that the mind might hold keys capable of reshaping conflict.
Whether those keys unlocked truth or merely opened new illusions remained a question for the years to come.
Among the first was a quiet artist named Ingo Swann, whose calm voice hid an uncanny awareness of subtle detail.
I claim no mystical gift, only an unusual sensitivity to patterns that others dismiss as coincidence or chance.
The primary structure is a truncated icosahedron, roughly 20 kilometers distant. The smaller
recounting impressions that emerged like echoes rising from unseen chambers.
Another recruit, Pat Price, a rivet with a background in law enforcement and a confidence that defied expectation.
The compounds were vast,
I recall the segmented halls, the heavy steel doorways, and the machinery.
The matches are simply coincidence.
This is a doorway opening into strange terrain.
Remote viewing, as it came to be called, became the centerpiece of research, a method both fragile and intoxicating.
Breathe deeply and let your mind travel.
Some felt nothing but silence, yet others claimed to perceive glimmers of light, structure, and hidden motion.
When sessions succeeded, descriptions flowed like water, soft, wavering, yet sometimes startlingly precise.
The installation was massive, buried in the mountains. The roofs were perfectly circular, like this, and the access tunnels were so narrow, barely passable.
The layouts are identical, confirmed by the recon.
But the energy signatures are anomalous. We can't proceed based on this assumption.
We need confirmation before escalating.
These results clearly demonstrate the mind might truly transcend physical boundaries. The implications for our consciousness are profound.
But each success carried shadows, for the line between intuition and invention remained impossibly thin.
Try rotating the axis on the tertiary cluster.
It's unstable. The whole sequence shifts when I try that.
Yet the agency pushed forward, convinced that even unreliable glimpses could offer advantage in the Cold War.
The voltage is dropping. Turn the dial.
It's overloading, Professor!
We are close. Keep going.
The data confirms the anomaly, but we're missing the causal link.
It has to be the sequencing. Look at this spike here. If we adjust the parameters...
Within this atmosphere grew a belief that consciousness itself was a territory worth mapping, despite its risks.
Every documented session added weight to questions that earlier generations of scholars had never dared to ask.
It was like falling through absolute darkness, guided only by fragments of impression.
Yes, and that faint motion.
Others felt as though stepping outside themselves, observing worlds shaped by memory, imagination, and perhaps fact.
We face so much uncertainty. But even in the hardest times, there was a quiet beauty, a resilience I still marvel at today.
They sensed that whatever they uncovered, truth or illusion, had the power to alter intelligence work forever.
These hidden programs, they go deeper than anyone imagined.
This confirms it. Look at this transaction here. It's heavily redacted.
But the timing matches the dissolution filing. This shell company got the money.
The rumors are true, Mr. Chairman. They've gone too far. We have confirmation about the gene editing trials in Sector 4.
This document proves you have been leaking information to the Soviets, General.
That is a fabrication. I am a patriot.
Committees formed quietly at first, gathering testimony from agents who spoke with careful, measured caution.
Some revealed only fragments, yet those fragments hinted at decades of research buried under endless secrecy.
The name MK Ultra surfaced like a relic rising from deep water, its syllables weighted with controversy and doubt.
Files related to it were scarce, for many had been destroyed under orders issued in earlier turbulent years.
Still, the surviving pages revealed threads of truth. Trials in hypnosis,
No more lies! We demand the truth! No consent!
How do programs like this even flourish?
Especially with all the talk about transparency and constitutional trust.
We condemn this reckless ambition. The mind should never be twisted into an unseen weapon.
The data is sound, Senator. We followed protocol.
People died because of your unauthorized experiments.
One faction argued that desperate times demanded unconventional tools, however uncomfortable their origins.
Secrecy had become a shield for wrongdoing, rather than necessity born of national defense. We followed orders, sir. I can't speak to the overall objective. We were just operatives.
Yes?
We followed the protocol precisely, as required by the directive.
There were anomalies, but nothing we could confirm without exposure.
The early successes with remote viewing were significant, yes, but they led to, frankly, unrealistic expectations about what the program could achieve.
Others suggested the programs had been kept alive more by hope and competition than by consistent scientific proof.
We cannot cut these programs. The Soviet threat is immediate.
But millions are vanishing without oversight, Senator.
It's too volatile. Shut it down.
Look at the success rates right here on the graph. We can't abandon this now.
Perhaps a provisional renewal with strict oversight.
Look at this spike right here. 3 standard deviations.
That can't be right.
What about the absentee ballots?
Critics warned that such anomalies lacked foundation and could lure intelligence strategy into dangerous fantasy. The truth lay tangled between perspectives, shaped by fear, ambition, and the fragmented nature of surviving data. As investigations intensified, more documents surfaced, some heavily redacted until barely legible as evidence. Public trust wavered, for the revelations painted a portrait of institutions willing to explore the unimaginable.
Even as scandals eroded, the CIA maintained that many experiments had offered insight worth preserving.
Yet they admitted privately that the boundaries between science and speculation had grown dangerously thin.
In the aftermath, certain programs were shuttered, sealed behind authorized signatures and quiet apologies.
But questions endured, echoed by South Asian elderly male historians who sensed unfinished chapters buried in forgotten archives.
For though the spotlight dimmed, the legacy of those experiments lingered, haunting corridors where they began. And as the nation grappled with its own reflection, one truth grew clear. Secrets, once exposed, seldom rest again.
When the final hearings closed, the nation believed the curtain had fallen on the age of psychic ambition.
Yet inside quiet offices where dust gathered slowly, a different story lingered in files no one dared to shred.
Historians would later note that certain documents never resurfaced, though their absence spoke louder than proof.
Fragments of the remote viewing archives were relocated under new designations.
According to scattered testimony, these records described events that resisted explanation even decades later.
Some hinted at sessions where viewers perceived locations that did not yet exist at the moment of observation.
The flash suggested a spike in the APAC index just before the Tokyo Open.
Are you certain the correlating factors align? It confirmed. Your insight was accurate.
Whether these accounts reflected truth or coincidence remained uncertain, but their mystery endured in shadow.
The programs became legend, debated by us scholars with fierce conviction.
And we skeptics maintain equal conviction that the data is insufficient.
One group argued the entire enterprise had been driven by fear, a monument to human desperation in wartime.
Another insisted that anomalies too consistent to ignore hinted at potential science not yet fully understood.
The eagle has landed, but the nest is empty.
We anticipated as much.
The next rendezvous point.
Those experiments really made us question everything.
Indeed. Where does imagination end and perception truly begin?
Others claimed the mind responded to intention like a compass finding north, though no instrument confirmed it.
Look at the pattern here. It almost perfectly mirrors the structure described in the archival data.
Indeed. The fractal symmetry they observed is finally verifiable.
The correlation is subtle, Professor, but it persists across the data sets.
Indeed. This possibility fundamentally shifts the debate.
But without the classified records, their work resembled a puzzle, missing pieces locked far from public sight.
Rumors grew that portions of the psychic research resurfaced under new programs with unrelated names.
Journalists pursued these trails, yet each path led to corridors where security badges controlled every breath.
Some sources suggested that global conflicts of later decades rekindled interest in unconventional perception.
Others believed the government abandoned such pursuits entirely, humbled by past excess and public scrutiny. Still, unanswered questions remained, lingering like thin smoke refusing to drift away from history's flame.
And if even a fragment had been real, what did that imply about the boundaries humanity assumed were fixed?
We can't be sure yet. Not until spring.
The storm is there, localized vortex, moving northeast. The models aren't seeing it yet. But the satellite imagery, it's updating now. My God.
These recollections, though unverifiable, created a mythos that refused to fade into comfortable dismissal. Over time, the story became less about experiments and more about the nature of truth in a world of secrets.
For truth, like shadow, often stretches, depending on where the light falls.
Perhaps the psychic programs were merely mirrors reflecting fear, ambition, and the African-American human longing for mastery.
Of course, they revealed threads of perception that science has yet to name. Woven.
In the end, the question endured. Did the CIA glimpse something extraordinary, or chase illusions born of rivalry? No official answer arrived, and none was expected, for some mysteries survive precisely because they remain veiled.
As archives age and memories fade.
And somewhere, in a locked room without windows, a folder may still rest on a quiet shelf beneath dim light.
Inside it may lie sketches, transcripts, and testimonies filled with wonder, doubt, and traces of the impossible.
Whether the truth sleeps within those pages or vanished long ago is a question left for future African-American eyes to find. Thus, the story closes not with certainty, but with a whisper, inviting those who listen to decide what they believe.
For in the half-life history, the mind remains both frontier and mystery.